What's up, good people? Welcome to 35 Years of Movies Podcast. I'm your host, McTuggy, and with me, as always, my co-host,
Moo.
What's going on, little brother? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Are you?
Not too bad. Not too stoked right at the moment, given the fact that this is the third time that we have recorded this. The first time we weren't recording when we thought we were and did a whole 15-minute intro, and yeah, that didn't even get recorded. So then the second time we got it set up, re-recorded, and actually did it fine, but then didn't realize that there was some other audio of me talking with my stepdad Joe, who helps me with my recording stuff, showing me a little bit of the ropes, and yeah, that was overlaid on the conversation, and there was two conversations going on in that fucking intro, and yeah, that was interesting and irritating. And I wasn't going to give that fucking bullshit to you, folks. I was going to re-record this anyway. So here we are, third time's a charm. Given the fact that this is episode 3 of 35 years, I think that's a good omen. I'm going to take that as a good omen.
I'd say it's a good omen.
All right. Well, then, getting into it, folks, you know the deal. We rate these movies. We decide whether or not they deserve the praise and the money that they've got, and whether they deserve being a number one movie for that year. All that fun stuff. We break them down, talk about them. This first conversation, this is the third time I'm talking about it.
This third conversation.
This third time, yeah. The conversation, the initial conversation is just me. I recorded this episode. This is the very, very first episode I ever recorded for a podcast. So it was just me by myself. So I thought, well, since we're doing the intro, why don't we just go ahead and get Moo's take on the movie that we're talking about, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So then I'm going to go ahead and just swap it, or swing it, or fling it, or do whatever. I don't know. You guys decide the word. Right over to Moo, and we're going to get his take on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. All right, Moo.
All right, well, it's third time's a charm, like you said. Now that I've lost everything that I've said the first two times... I like this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Kind of nostalgic from childhood. Watched it a lot when I was younger. Still could watch it today.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Love the actors in it. I still never get the main guy's name right.
Bob Hoskins.
But then we got
Christopher
Lloyd.
Christopher
I don't
Lloyd.
even know who does Roger's voice.
Oh god damn it. I could pull it up on IMDb real quick.
Yeah, there's a solid cast there. It's a fun movie. Love the animation. They did really good for 1988.
Yeah, it was so good.
Surprisingly good, yeah. Even with the shadowing effects and the lighting effects we talked about. And
Yep.
How they actually made the characters the animated characters had the shadowing effects and they were done well.
Yeah, from the real light. It was, really well done. Great effects for 88.
Yeah, granted, I don't know a lot about technology, but I've seen some 90s movies that were way worse animation, so I'm assuming it was good animation.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, that guy's Charles Fleischer. That's his name.
Charles Fleischer.
He's the one who did Roger Rabbit's voice. All right. Anything else, Boo?
No, I mean, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's a really fun movie. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. I wish I could have been involved in the conversation, but I wasn't even here yet, so...
Yeah.
Wasn't even a thought about a second person here yet.
No,
so.
I was initially just going to do this podcast all on my own because I had planned Triple T to be with guests, and I had gotten COVID. And so that put that podcast on hold, so I started this one, and I was initially, like I said, just going to do it all by myself. And then a buddy's like... I think I've said this in one other episode, but a buddy's like, hey, go ahead and get co-host. It would really help. So, boom. Now we got Moo.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, man, it's a great movie. Like I said, should definitely check it out. Can't really say much more about it besides it's good, and check it out if you haven't seen it.
Fair. All right. Well, with that said, then, we're going to go ahead and get on to the segment, What Have You Watched Recently? Which I guess is what I'm going to call it now. Because it's the second time I've said that. So, yeah. What have you watched recently, Moo?
Well, I got one good, one bad.
All right.
So the good, obviously, is going to be Prey.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I watched it right the day after it came out. I still want to sit down and watch it again, but I pretty much remember the movie. It was just drew me in the whole time.
I agree.
I loved it. I thought it was really good.
Prey was awesome.
Predator movie. If you don't know what Predator is, go figure it out.
Yeah, Google Predator. Come on, figure it out. Educate
Watch the
yourself.
old ones. They may be old movies, but they're still Predator movies. and
Start
they're
with
still
Predator,
Not, bad.
obviously. You gotta have
Not
all,
Predators.
no Predator.
Predator.
Without an
Arnold
S, not plural.
Schwarzenegger.
And make sure Arnie's in that shit.
And Lando Calrissian.
Get to the no, that wasn't Lando.
That's not Lando.
No, that's
He's in so many things.
that's the
Rocky.
Apollo Creed.
Yeah, that's where
and
that's where my
also,
mind went for some reason.
God damn it, who's the fucking Chubbs? Happy
Chubbs.
Gilmore.
That's right. Happy Gilmore.
Yep,
How did I not know that?
that's okay. That's all right.
I'm
That
not good
happens.
with actors' names anyway.
That's fair. Like I said, this is a movie podcast where, yes, we speak about movies. Not necessarily movies we like or movies we've seen, but long story short, we don't know what the hell we're talking about, really. And, yeah. We
More
don't-
of a fan podcast than
all your
actually
other
knowing how
all your
movies
other
work.
movie podcasts, review podcasts that are out there that are much better than this one, you know, they know what they're talking about. They talk about different types of lighting and different types of
Camera
look at these
effects
shots and look at this, the way this actor is doing this, and no, we just talk about how we like the movie and sometimes go off track.
Yeah.
And but yeah, okay, Prey was fucking great. You said you had a second one?
Disappointment one would be Highlander 2. Just don't watch it.
Yeah,
I watched it yesterday. It's a horrible movie.
Highlander 2, no
I've
go.
only seen the first one, and I never saw that one, and I wish I would have saw that one.
That's fair. All right, well, on to me. I'm going to also say Prey. That was a fucking phenomenal movie. And I'm going to go on a little rant that I went on in the last recording, even though we didn't get to hear it. All you Chads out there, all you people talking shit about Amber Midthunder and how that a little girl should not be able to fucking beat a predator. Fuck you. Like, shove something up your ass. Because Sarah Connor, Ellen Ripley, all females that beat the shit out of a Terminator and a fucking alien. Why the hell else wouldn't a woman be able to beat the shit out of a fucking predator? Especially one as badass as Amber Midthunder was. If you don't think she's a badass, a non-Mary Sue,
Yeah, not Mary Sue at all, because she does basically the same
she
thing
learns
that
throughout the whole movie.
Arnold does. It's
And
like
she
Arnold can't
overcomes.
kick the shit out of the predator by himself, so he
Nope.
has to set up traps and shit.
Exactly.
It's very similar in that
Yeah.
that essence.
Yeah.
It's
and-
not like she just goes out and kicks his ass with a bow and arrow and a spear.
Exactly. So that's my rant. Shut the fuck up. Don't worry about it. It's a great ass movie. If you haven't seen Prey yet, watch Prey. Not movie related, but I did finish Better Call Saul. That was very well done.
Yeah, I've still only seen like the first
Very
episode.
well done. I enjoyed it. Vince Gilligan, Peter Gold, fucking wow. Good job.
Pretty good
I
things.
want to watch through it again. It was fun. Excuse me. All right. So that being said, I'm going to plug the social medias real quick. Hit us up on Tuggy's Top 10 Podcast on Facebook, or hit us up on the Twitter at btugmantalk10, BTUGMAN TALK10. And let us know, give us some feedback. Tell us if there's a movie you want us to fucking watch and
Yeah.
review for you. If you want to hear our insight on something, you don't like us, you love us, whatever. Share us, like
Throw
us.
us a movie from one of these years of these movies that you thought should have been the number one.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. If you got to fucking, if you're like, hey, you know, Batman '89 shouldn't have been number one, which is the next episode, by the way. A little teaser there for you. Tell us what you think should have been number one then, and maybe we'll fucking watch it and we'll see if you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's definitely a few.
Definitely down to
That
do
would
bonus
be-
episodes because I have a Patreon page up. There's just nothing on it. And so if you all want bonus episodes, I'm willing to throw bonus episodes up there for $1 a month.
Right? Or even requested episodes
Or
by
request,
anyone.
yeah, exactly. You know, but yeah. So I think, Moose, or anything you want to say before we get to this conversation?
Not really, but I think we got a few good ones coming up soon. Hopefully, we can get them done sooner than later.
Yep.
I feel like we should probably tell people on the next one what plans we have for which ones are going on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we're gonna put
As-
most on Anchor, right?
oh,
But we
yeah,
should probably
okay, so
at
they're
least
all-
get an idea of what we're gonna throw on YouTube.
Yeah. So okay. So right now, yeah, let's talk about that real quick before we exit out of here. I do have episodes up on YouTube right now, and the plan is to get all of the episodes up on YouTube. All of them are available on Spotify and Anchor at the moment, where you're probably listening to this now. If not, if you're on YouTube at this point, cool. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But yes, so right now, episode 1 of 35 Years, where we talk about Top Gun, is on there. And episode 1 of Triple T, the Tuggy's Top 10 podcast that I do with my buddy James, aka Sneaky Ninja, where we talk about Empire Strikes Back. That's on there on YouTube. And I plan on getting a lot more up there. I plan on having every one that we pop out is going to be available on YouTube as well. So if you don't like Spotify, or you don't want to use Anchor or whatever, jump on YouTube. We're on there too. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so I think we're going to shut the hell up. And when you hear Judge Doom, not Dr. Doom, like I realized I had said in the other fucking one, Judge Doom, when you hear his little, remember me, Eddie? When I killed your brother, I talked just like this! Yeah, when you hear that, mine was fucking horrible, I know. I'm sorry. I'll get right into the conversation, and, yeah. Enjoy, folks. Here we go.
Remember me, Eddie? When I killed your brother, I talked just like.
What's up, good people? Welcome to 35 Years of Movies podcast, where each week I bring you an episode discussing the number one movie of the year, beginning with the year 1986, which was the year I was born, and ending with the year 2021. Every episode, I will watch the number one movie of the year, I will give my overall rating and opinion of the movie, and if I liked or disliked it, as well as determine whether or not the movie in discussion deserves the praise that it gets and the money that it's earned. Now, a few things I have to go ahead and just get out of the way before we start. We're starting on episode 3, and you're probably going, where the fuck are episode 1 or 2? So Top Gun, which is episode 1, is unavailable for streaming anywhere. So I have to find a physical copy of it so I can watch it and then do the episode. Episode 2 is Beverly Hills Cop 2, which is available for rent on Xfinity, my cable provider right now. But that's $3.99 for rent. So the plan is I am going to make a Patreon page, look into it for the podcast, and then once I get that up and running and figured out, you can go on there, pay whatever it is to subscribe. I'm going to make it as cheap as possible. I'm not looking for any big things, just a little bit of money to help me rent these movies and watch them. That's all I ask. So that's what's going to happen with the Patreon once I look into it and get it all going up. And then those episodes 1 and 2, and a few others on this list that will be Patreon exclusives. And they'll be up there. You just pay the whatever a month, and boom, you get those episodes. And then that will be the Patreon for this podcast, 35 Years of Movies, as well as my other podcasts, Tuggy's Top 10 podcast. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Okay, so, sit back and listen to someone talk about movies like he knows what the fuck he is talking about. By the way, foul language warning, it's gonna happen. I fucking cuss a lot, as you can tell. You've been warned. Now, welcome to episode number 3. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Alright, so we're talking about Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, specifically. Get the title right. It's available on Disney Plus for streaming. I just watched it the other night, again, for the first time in a few years. It came out June 24th, 1988. It was 2. Its budget was $50 million. $50.6 million. It made a domestic gross of $156 million and some change in almost 1,600 theaters around the country. The good old US of A, America, where we live. Fucking shit. earning a total of $105, almost $106,000, after cutting out the budget and whatnot. Yeah, fuck. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Man, I grew up watching this movie as a kid. Excuse me. It's definitely one of those movies that I can go back to and sit back and enjoy every once in a while. I very much liked it as a kid, and then watching it again as a 35-year-old man, you notice stuff that you didn't notice when you watch movies that you watched when you were younger. The adult stuff, the jokes that went over your head, the things of that sort. So basically, yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, which, where the fuck have you been if you haven't seen this movie? I lost train of thought on where I was going. Let me double check. If you haven't seen the movie, like I said, it was on Disney Plus. Oh, right. There we go. I'm back. First podcast episode, first time doing this. Here we go. Again, if you haven't seen the movie, a basic synopsis of the story. So, Eddie Valiant's a private detective. He gets hired by R.K. Maroon, this cartoon guy, to go take some dirty photos. Miss Jessica Rabbit, who is Roger Rabbit's wife, because she's fucking around with this guy named Acme, who owns all the crazy cool cartoon toys in Toontown and all that. Long story short, that happens. Roger Rabbit gets framed for murdering Acme, even though, later on down the road you find out who it is. Anyway, so yeah, that's a very, very, very loose, and I'm sorry if that, very loose description, thank you, synopsis, or whatever. Yeah, this is my first podcast, so here we go. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get into my notes that I took while I was watching this movie. So you got the opening scene with the cartoon and Baby Herman, and, the very beginning, Baby Herman's in his crib and his mom walks by, and, it's that classic cartoon type deal where all you see is their legs or like their waist down and then walking. You never see the top of their head or their body or their face or nothing like that, but you hear their voice. And she tells him blah, 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 and she fucking warns Roger, hey, watch the baby, don't do anything. But what I noticed, I'm kind of weird, I noticed lines on the back of her calves, and I didn't know what the hell that was. I was like, is she wearing leggings? Because, given a cartoon, you can't really tell other than those very specific lines down the back of the middle of her calves. Later, that gets answered throughout the movie, because Eddie Valiant's girlfriend walks into his apartment or something, and for some reason the camera pans down and shows the backs of her calves, which also have these lines going up, to address my question. And I was like, well, that shit is now answered. Excellent. So yeah, that's kind of a weird way to start. Just something I noticed. There's, you got all your cartoon tropes in this scene. He's getting hit with everything, including the kitchen sink, a fucking refrigerator. Basically, the scene ends because Roger can't fucking conjure stars above his head whenever he gets fucking something dropped on his head. So then, that's when we see Eddie Valiant, and Baby Herman is just fucking great because you find out he's like this 50-year-old dude in like a 3-year-old body or whatever, like a baby. And he's just like cussing and pissing and moaning and fucking smoking cigars and oh man, it's good shit. So then we see Eddie Valiant. He's there watching this shit. He's a private detective. He gets paid. He goes and talks to R.K. Maroon. If you hear a little shuffling, that's my dog over here. He gets paid $100 to take pictures of Jessica Rabbit by R.K. Maroon, excuse me, which is the big cartoon guy for the cartoon company that does the movies and all that. He gives him $100, which is $50 up front, 50-minute job's done, to get the pictures of Jessica Rabbit and Acme. I don't know why she was on my brain. That's really fucking weird. Long story short, 1947, $100. It's a good chunk of change. It's not a fuck ton of money. Well, that's a good chunk of change back in 1947. I mean, this is coming off a few years off of World War II. They're, Hollywood's really kicking, doing its thing. Money, the dollar meant a lot more back then, kids, than it does now. That's all I'm going to say about that. That just fucking ages me right there. I'm only 35, but still. So then he ends up, he tries to get on the trolley. He can't because he doesn't have cash. Valiant, that is. And so he illegally hops a ride on the back of the trolley. And there's some kids back there. And the scene switches from him getting on and riding out. And then him coming to wherever it is that he's going. I think back to his house, if I remember correctly. To him jumping off and saying, "Thanks for the cigarettes." How fucking old were those kids? I mean, again, 1947, different times, but wow. Damn. Alright. So he goes into this club because he's looking to... He's never seen Jessica Rabbit, apparently. So he's going to this club that she works at. Fucking great scene with the big-ass gorilla in the tuxedo, the doorman, and, nice monkey suit. Wise ass, says the big ass gorilla. This is a good little it was funny. That was the first time I was like, oh my god. That was a cuss word. And, being a kid, again, I was 2 years old when this movie came out, but I was probably like 3 or 4 when I first saw it. Like, oh shit, they said a bad word. The cartoon monkey said a bad word. But right here, I mean, you got Marvel doing all these crossovers, right? In these different movies and things of that sort, but dude, can you really go wrong with Donald Duck and Daffy Duck just piano battling? It's fucking great. It's super funny. I mean, it's classic goofy psycho fucking crazy Daffy, and then Donald Duck, he's got his anger problems. He's always pissed off. And it culminates in Donald Duck blowing Daffy away with a giant cannon. Huge explosion. Class. Pure class. Just fucking great. The whole hooks pull him off the stage. And then, this place has got penguins as the waiters, which is really funny because they don't even need to dress up. And then enter Jessica Rabbit. Most boys' first sexual crush on a cartoon. Like, we had your Tiffany Amber Thiessens, your Kellys from Saved by the Bell, which is, I guess, more early 90s, but they had their 80s women's, right? This was a cartoon lady, and damn. And so, yeah, she comes out, does her whole song, and fucking, the animation department just is incredible, and I can see where most of this budget went. Because just the interaction with the animated characters and the animated, or the live action people and things and objects that they interact with, it's great. So Valiant sees her finally. He's never seen her before. He thought she was a fucking rabbit, and she's this big ass fucking like over sexualized version of your modern woman. Well, not modern woman, but big tits, ass, legs that go all the way up, fucking just bright red lips, just super sexualized. But yeah, and then he follows her after. After getting his ass kicked out, what he does is he follows her to his... Eddie follows Jessica Rabbit after her thing to her dressing room because she's in there with Marvin Acme. Marvin Acme, that's his first name, Marvin Acme. And he's sitting there looking through the peephole, the keyhole, and then the big gorilla guy comes and it's like, nope, sorry, get the fuck out of here. And this is one of those points where you could obviously see that he was on not a crane, or he was cabled up, but anyway, again, still well done animation department. And here's a little side note. It blows my fucking mind knowing that Bob Hoskins was considered for the role of Wolverine before Hugh Jackman landed it. And that fucking blows my mind. I can't believe it. So anyway, he takes the pictures, blah, 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 finds that out. Let's see. Yosemite Sam's little cameo was fucking great. Comes flying out of fucking Toontown, up over the wall, his fucking ass is on fire. My biscuits are burning! That's such a good scene. I love Yosemite Sam. He's one of my favorite characters. And then, enter Christopher Lloyd as Judge Doom. And, dude, and the Weasels. Can't forget about the Weasels, because these dudes, holy shit, man. You got the Weasels, which are the leader, which is the dude in the white pinstripe suit with the hat, and then there's Smooth Green that I don't know all their names, so I just kind of gave them my own names. Smooth Green, the one in the green suit. And then the dumb one with the fucking little spinny hat on his head, and he's got the t-shirt and a baseball bat. Looks like a little child. Then the insane one in the straight jacket, and then the smoker, the guy who's just always smoking cigarettes. They introduce, Judge Doom does, that is, pardon me, the dip, which he says is made of turpentine, acetone, and benzene. I'm not sure if doing this will cause it to stop recording, but it does not appear to do so. Okay, so sweet. So I can still actually go look up stuff. I probably should have had this ready. Turpentine. You know what? I should have done my research beforehand. I'm not going to waste y'all's time by trying to find this out because I'm on my phone and it's doing things and stuff. So, anyway, let's get back into it. So this is where we find out how the dip works, because there's a little shoe tune, like a little red and yellow shoe tune. He's all sounds like a fucking squeaky toy for a dog. Doom picks him up, and then it's like, hey, says some shit, and then boom, drops him just fucking melts the little shoe dude and turns him into nothing. He's dead. So, let me get this straight, kid, because this is where they're at. They're at this scene, because, that's right, I kind of glossed over a few things. Acme has been killed, and Roger Rabbit has been blamed, after finding out when Eddie showed him the pictures of his wife, Jessica Rabbit, playing patty cake, and he freaked out, and blah, 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 whatever. So, anyway, that's where we're at. We're at the scene with, son of a bitch. Marvin Acme's death. Someone dropped a safe on his head. Very reminiscent of Eddie's brother being killed by a toon who dropped a piano on him. So, anyway, my point is, pardon me, a toon murdering a human is a no-go at all, okay? But a human murdering a toon without cause, other than to show off the effects of the dip, totally fine. Like, what the fuck? Are you serious? That just seems really weird. There's my obligatory, coffee sip. So yeah, the toon was clearly a sentient being, and all the other toons are sentient beings. Judge Doom just legitimately committed murder right there in front of the cops and Eddie, but he's a judge and it's okay, and they're just toons. Alright, whatever. Let's get out of that. That's my take on that. It's kind of weird. It's fucked up in my honest opinion, but it shows how much of a fucking crazy, evil dude Judge Doom really is. So that's cool. So then we get to the scene where Eddie is in a hallway and he meets up with Baby Herman. Again, any scene with Baby Herman, fucking dude, they could make a Baby Herman movie and I'd watch it. That dude he's funny as shit. He has the line, after he slaps his nanny's ass and tells her to go get him something downstairs, he says, Eddie goes, "Oh, ladies' man, huh?" And he goes, Baby Herman goes, "I've got a 50-year-old lust and a 3-year-old dinky," and he points at his dick through his diaper. He's wearing a diaper, but I never caught that line growing up as a kid. Like, I didn't understand what he was saying, but now, dude, I laughed my fucking ass off the other night when I watched this, and whew, yeah, that was a good one. I definitely forgot about that one. Baby Herman win. Give me a Baby Herman movie. Okay, then we get to, that's right, Eddie goes into his house. He figures out that the clue that they were looking for, they're looking for Acme's will. Come to find out, it was in his pocket in one of the pictures he took of him and Jessica Rabbit that was printed on that day's newspaper, and that he only found just now recently, conveniently. Go figure. Clue in sight, plain sight type trope deal. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Jessica Rabbit says a line at one point. I think I'm glossing over that scene a little bit because I think that's the scene before that is when he finds that. He goes to lay down, or I could be mixing up scenes with him and Roger, and the weasels coming into his apartment, and then he has to have they're handcuffed, and he has to put Roger in the water, and yeah, I think I might have glossed over that scene a little bit. Or I might be missing something. Anyway, this is what I get for doing my first podcast without no notes, or with very little knowledge of what I'm doing. Anyway, we get to Jessica Rabbit. She says her and Eddie Valiant are talking, and the last line she tells him, I believe it was the last line, says, "I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way." And I just wrote down, "You're drawn just fine, Mrs. Rabbit." And we get to the diner where he has to get, because him and Roger are still handcuffed, because Roger's a crazy fuck and handcuffed him, and he's got him under his coat, and he's going into the diner to talk to his girlfriend, and up on the side it says French dip 50 cents. I remember 1947. Different money, different times. I was like, give me 4 of them motherfuckers. I love me a French dip sandwich. 50 cents, $2 for 4 fucking sandwiches. Oh yeah, do it. Another thing, why is there a goofy ass cowboy in that bar scene? Like, everyone else is dressed like period time appropriate, and then you got this motherfucker in like a cowboy hat and like a leather fucking shirt with like the frillies on it, and he's looking all like fucking like fruity cowboy. I don't know, it's super weird, but whatever. So then, fucking Doom comes in, I'm looking for a rabbit, blah, 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 the weasels are there, they eventually get ousted, because of the whole, if you didn't know what that is, that was shaving a haircut, 2 bits. Judge Doom says no tune can resist the old shaving a haircut bit. So he does that, and it's true. Fucking Roger loses his shit and comes out, busts out of the wall, and goes, 2 bits, and then he gets grabbed, and long story short, a fight ensues, because he goes to dip him in the dip, put him in the dip. He's like, I'm gonna kill you, put you in the dip, because you killed Acme, Marvin Acme, blah, 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 this is justice. Eddie says, hey, doesn't a guy get a last drink before he dies? And the judge agrees, weirdly. He goes, yeah, okay, sure, I could see that. So they do that, and he agrees, and so Eddie pours him a big-ass thing of bourbon, gives it to Roger. The whole little back and forth between, take the drink, I don't want the drink, take the drink, I don't want the drink, you want the drink, I don't want the drink, I want the drink, you want the drink. Well, this is a whole, thing. Eventually, Roger drinks it and freaks out, because in an earlier scene, he took that shot in Maroon's office and freaked the fuck out and took off, and that's right before they thought he killed Acme. So, this scene, this little thing of him not being able to handle his liquor comes back, and boom, big fight ensues. Roger and all them. A little bit of Budweiser product placement in here. Valiant hits the leader weasel with a bottle. It's really funny. They're from behind the bar. Then they get out there. They try to steal the weasel's car. They realize they don't have the keys, I think it is, or something, and then they realize that, or Roger realizes Benny the Cab is in the back. So they get Benny the Cab, and they're taking off, and they leave with Benny the Cab, and he's fucking funny. He's a fucking obvious New York cabbie stereotype, but it's hilarious. And at one point, he mentions the Brooklyn Dodgers, which is really funny because 1947, they were still in Brooklyn. And this was obviously before they came to LA, which is where the movie is based at. So, yeah, it's pretty funny. I don't know if they're referencing them moving already, because I don't think the Dodgers moved to LA until like 53. Something like that. I'm not a huge sports guy. Sports Ball! Let's see. Roger says something about Eddie being impervious puss, or it's an I don't remember the exact line. I found it kind of funny. We'll just gloss over that. So then they find out that Maroon's all behind it, and so Valiant goes back, fucking punches Maroon in the face, after being like, you are all behind this whole, like, everything, the big plot of the movie. After spraying him with water the whole bit, and like that, the punch was just terribly funny. It just, that was the best take they had, I guess. So then, as they're running away, or no, they're not. No, they're still in scuffling, and all of a sudden, here comes a big gun out of the window. Bang! Maroon gets shot twice, killed. Valiant looks outside and sees Jessica Rabbit running away, and I apologize if that was muffled because I was talking into my coffee cup. And so we think that Jessica Rabbit killed Maroon. So, no, we'll see. Eddie finally eventually decides, fuck it, I have to go to Toontown. And he's at because that's what he does. He chases her to the tunnel for Toontown, and he stops because he hasn't been to Toontown since his brother died. So he's got that whole, like, mental block about going into Toontown. But he finally realized, fucking, I have to do it. He gets a cartoon gun with cartoon bullets, and they're totally your stereotypical, like, Cowboys and Indians fucking bullets. The Native American for sure, like, totally racist Indian stereotype, but he got the tomahawk, and he throws the bottle up after pouring out his whiskey, and shoots the fucking bullet. The Indian fucking bullet flies up there, and shoots, or I guess that was more Taliban type deal. I'm gonna stop before I get in trouble. But anyway, yeah, so, like, the Native American bullet hits the bottle with the tomahawk. That was, like, signaling his end. I'm done drinking for Eddie Valiant. And then, here we go. We're in Toontown. Finally, all this talk about Toontown in the movie, and we finally get to Toontown, which is awesome. Because here we get so many cameos. He goes into an elevator, and Droopy Dog. Y'all know who Droopy Dog is. Going down, sir. Is the elevator operator, which is hilarious, because back then they had elevator operators. People actually were paid to sit in an elevator and wait for people to come on and operate the elevator for them, because people were too lazy to push a button or operate a lever. I don't know. So, and then, you got Tweety Bird, when he's hanging off the freaking pole outside the building, and Tweety Bird comes over there and knocks his piggies off. Oh, I'm all out of piggies. I fucking love Tweety Bird. He, I'm not entirely sure that debate's up for debate. Or yeah, you know what I meant. And then as he's falling, Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny, fucking floating down. They're all like, it's like they're doing their, god damn it, why can't I think of stuff? Skydiving! There we go. They're skydiving, and yeah, they say hi to, they're like, hey man, why you jumping out of a plane without a suit or something like that? So they gave him a spare, and he goes to open it, and come to find out it's actually a spare fucking tire. So down he goes. And then so yeah, he ends up getting almost shot. Eddie does, at one point, by the big gun, because it comes out of nowhere and then Jessica Rabbit comes out of nowhere. Yeah, because he's chasing Jessica Rabbit, that's what it is, down an alley. The big gun comes out, Jessica Rabbit turns around, pulls a gun. Eddie thinks he's going to shoot him, and she shoots the gun away, and come to find out, the big gun is Dr. Doom. Or, god damn it, Dr. Doom? Sorry, Mr. Victor Von Doom, sir. Judge Doom. And Jessica Rabbit just saved Eddie before he got shot. But eventually they end up getting caught. You get the whole booby trap line when Smooth Green is patting down Jessica Rabbit and he reaches in between her tits. He pulls out the fucking... Pulls his hand out because slam! Bear traps on his hand. Eddie Valiant goes, booby trap. I thought that was funny. Never caught that as a kid. And then Doom explains his giant plan. Just like every villain at the end of the movie, right before they think they've got it won, they have to start monologuing. So he does. He talks about his huge plan. He's got a hard-on for a freeway, the gentrification of the freeway, and Toontown, and the genocide. The genocide. That's the big thing of Toontown. He wants to take this giant machine he made with full of dip and go and spray Toontown down and murder everybody in Toontown so we can make way for a fucking freeway. Wow. That's just genocide for what? So that's his thing. He wants to do that. Here we get Roger and Jessica Rabbit are tied up, the thing's spraying, the weasels are all the weasels, here we go. So, Eddie, because they start laughing about something, I forget what it was, and Judge tells him, stop laughing or you're gonna die, and this has been a thing throughout the whole movie, they keep telling him, stop laughing, or you're gonna fucking kill yourself, dying laughing, blah, 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 blah. Well, sure as shit, we get closure on that aspect, or that little bit. So the weasel's demise, they start freaking just laughing because Eddie figures this out and he starts going around like hitting himself with bowling balls and throwing them in the air and like knocking himself over and doing all this crazy shit, and they just start laughing their ass off, and next thing you know, boop, 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 they all start popping, dying. And it's fucking great. It's a fucking such a fun scene because I mean they're dying laughing, literally dying laughing, and Eddie's embracing his more goofy side because he said at one point in the movie that him and his brother loved Toontown, but once his brother died, he fucking just fucked off with that shit. But you can see that he really enjoyed it. So like he made it happen. He gets in there. And then him and Christopher Lloyd get into the fight. Right? The glue scene happens. Christopher Lloyd gets glued to the fucking steamroller, and he gets fucking steamrolled and killed, and everybody's like, oh god, all like, damn, he's dead. And then he starts moving. And he gets up, and he's all flat. He looks like a cartoon just got run over. And then we find out he is a fucking toon. And just let me tell you, one of the first times I remember watching this being young, Christopher Lloyd going full toon mode scared the goddamn piss out of me so bad. His fucking red eyes, that fucking voice, big old golden fuck off saw that he tries to kill Eddie with, like, so good. Such a great villain. Such a good villain. Christopher Lloyd, fucking the man. So yeah, then they go through, Eddie ends up fucking tricking him to stand in front of the spout for the big dip machine. He knocks it open. It fucking sprays all over the fucking place, all over the floor, all over him. Doc Doom. Not Doc Doom, Judge Doom, sorry. Victor Von Doom's gonna come to my house and kill me. Yeah, and he fucking dies. He's like, melting. I remember when I was watching that, it was hilarious. When I just recently watched it, my 3-year-old was kind of back and forth watching it with me, and when that scene came up and he started melting and he was doing that, like she was laughing her ass off. It made me so happy. It was so funny. And then, of course, you got fucking Roger and Jessica still tied up on the thing. The spraying's doing its spray. It's about to go away, and then boom, it breaks through the wall, and there's Toontown on the other side, and You get everybody fucking coming through. Everybody, dude. All the fucking Foghorn Leghorn, fucking Sylvester, fucking Bugs Bunny, Goofy, fucking Mickey, Minnie, Daisy. Like, so many cartoon cameos right here at the end where they just come through. Before that, why are there so many fire hydrants in that warehouse? There's like 6 fire hydrants lined up in like one area that he has to open so, you know, he can spray the fucking dip away and whatever, so all the cartoon characters can come in without dying. But yeah, was that a thing? Was that a thing back then? I guess. Okay, and then that's the end of the movie, basically. What is it? Roger says something towards Eddie at the end, and he says, "Don't tell me you lost your sense of humor already." And then he looks at him all pissed off because he's all like, "Ugh." And he goes, "You tell me." And he picks him up and he plants a big old kiss on frickin' Roger's lips. Boom. Eddie's happy. He's good. He's got his girl now. He's over his brother's death. He killed the man who killed his brother. And he made a really annoying friend in the process, aka Roger Rabbit. Okay, and then the end of the movie comes. We got Porky Pig ushering everybody back into Toontown. Come on, go this. He's like a crowd control cop because he's got like a hat on. And then when he turns around, he flips the hat off and he goes, beep, 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 beep. That's a fucking horrible Porky Pig impression. Jesus Christ. But he does his old "that's all, folks" thing, and he was a pig who was a cop. Porky Pig was a cop at the end of that movie, which was pretty funny. Yeah, shit, and that's the end of the movie. So, alright, let's see. Overall rating. I don't even really have a rating system that I can, let's do it. Fuck it, let's go old school or just really, really, let's give it let's go out of a 10. Out of 10. Okay, we'll just basic 10 score. What would I give Who Framed Roger Rabbit if I was going to score it out of 10? Give it like a 7.5. It's not perfect in any way, shape, or form. No movie on here, by the way, since I'm doing a rating score, I will just tell you this right here, right now. No movie in this list is going to get a perfect 10 out of 10. I guarantee it. I don't see it happening. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. That's what I'm going to rate it for. Yeah, I like the movie a lot. It was a good movie. I still like the movie. I've always liked the movie. It's just, it got even better being older and watching it and getting all the other shit. Now to determine, does this movie deserve its praise, and does it deserve the money that it earned? I'm just going to be simple and go ahead and say yes and yes. It absolutely deserves the praise that it gets because it's a great family movie. Great movie overall. It's fun. And stuffy as fucking. I hate it. Pardon me, guys. Yeah, I absolutely believe it deserves the praise it got, and I absolutely believe it earned the money. I mean, it more than doubled its budget. So, the people that made this movie, they got their pays. They got their monies. I'm hoping most of that budget, I'm assuming most of that budget, hoping as well, that most of that went to the animation department because, again, I can't talk enough about the animation department. They fucking they rocked it. They did it so well. It looked awesome. So, yeah, yes and yes. It absolutely deserves the praise it gets, and it absolutely deserves the money that it earned. It's a great fucking movie, and if you haven't seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, what fucking rock have you been living under? And get it's on Disney Plus, or just go find a physical copy. Whatever your take. And that's gonna do it for me, good people. Thank you all for listening. Hit me up on the Facebook page, Tuggy's Top 10 Podcast. This podcast, 35 Years of Movies. will be promoted through that page as well. You can also get me on Reddit. McTuggy is my name, McTugggy, or at on Twitter at btugmantalk10, BTUGMANTALK10, btugmantalk10 on Twitter. Keep an eye out for future episodes. Thanks again for fucking listening. This is my first episode. I am going to post it as soon as possible. I'll have more info for you on the Patreon. Hopefully next episode when I figure out what's going on with that. We're just under 40 minutes right now, which I talked a little bit longer than I did a test recording before I did this video that I wanted to see how long it would be for me to talk about this thing. So I gave it about 10 more minutes. We're almost at 40 minutes. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to get out of here. Thank you again for listening. Remember, you've got this. Keep it up. Do you. Pave your own way. Don't hurt anyone in the process. And be excellent to each other, as Bill and Ted say. Have a good day, folks. See you later.